just Meghan Markle's stage. We're expected to buy it. But she said she was in the trenches. She alludes to being in the trenches when she was in the British royal family. Girl, you lived in a castle. Like, you got a princess title. People were falling at your feet.
There are people who come in your life sometimes to be there for a season. They weren't meant to be there always. Sometimes we find ourselves hooked up with people that we think are there for a lifetime, but they were only supposed to be there for a season.
Tyler Perry just detonated a nuclear bomb that sent shockwaves through Hollywood and Buckingham Palace. The billionaire mogul who once saved Harry and Meghan has just leaked explosive secret tapes that reveal everything we suspected about their calculated manipulation. Within hours, Harry was on a plane fleeing back to the UK in absolute panic. Tyler Perry used to be the golden ticket when Harry and Meghan blew up the royal playbook and fled the UK in a whirlwind of drama, headlines, and security nightmares. It wasn't Buckingham Palace that caught them. It wasn't Charles. It wasn't William. It wasn't even a well-meaning friend. It was Tyler Perry, Hollywood's billionaire fairy godfather, the man with a private jet, a fortress of a mansion, and enough security to rival the Secret Service, who swooped in like a real-life guardian angel.
Meghan Markle recently said that you reached out to her and said, come, you can live in my home.
Stay in my house.
Yeah, it was a very difficult time for them. And what I know about the two of them, and I wish the world knew how much they love these two people love each other. They found each other out of all these odds against them finding each other, they found each other. And the love that they have is really, really moving. And I just wanted to do anything I could to support them.
Isn't that funny?
Tyler Perry offered up his Beverly Hills estate that wasn't just a safe house, it became the Sussex Sanctuary, a fortress far away from flashbulbs, royal aides, and tabloid headlines. For months, it was where Harry, Meghan, and baby Archie began their post-royal rebrand. Tyler didn't just lend them a place to hide, he lent them his name, his reputation, and his unwavering loyalty. Meghan was so grateful, she gave him the godfather title for their daughter, Lilibet. In royal terms, that's practically sacred. That's not just a thank you, that's eternal gratitude. What happened next was pure Hollywood magic. But not the kind you see on screen. This was the kind of calculated image rehabilitation that costs millions and requires teams of experts to pull off seamlessly. Meghan and Harry didn't just stumble into their post-royal narrative, they crafted it with surgical precision, and Tyler Perry was their unwitting star player.
True friend to them, and he helped them out with no fanfare, and that's what he does continuously. He regularly gives to charities, provides aid to disaster sites, buys groceries for families. Shoot, he even took the vaccine on TV to prove it was safe. He's a billionaire.
The Netflix cameras rolled at exactly the right moments, capturing perfectly lit conversations where Meghan's voice would crack just enough to seem authentic while discussing Tyler's generosity. Every single frame was designed to paint him as their savior, the man who stepped up when they left the royal family. The lighting was soft, the music was emotional, and the message was crystal clear. Tyler Perry was family now. But here's what the public didn't see behind those carefully curated moments. Sources close to the production reveal that multiple takes were shot for every spontaneous conversation about Tyler. Meghan would practice her grateful expressions in the mirror. Harry would rehearse his talking points about feeling abandoned by his birth family, but rescued by his chosen family. Nothing was left to chance. The most manipulative part was how they positioned Tyler in the opposite camp. While Charles and William were painted as cold and institutional, Tyler was warm, generous, and unconditionally supportive. It was a brilliant PR strategy that made their departure from royal life look like an upgrade rather than a devastating loss. Tyler became the proof that they didn't need the monarchy because they had found something better in Hollywood's elite circles. Then Derek Dixon's $260 million essay lawsuit hit like a meteor, and suddenly Tyler Perry wasn't the golden boy anymore. The allegations were devastating, painting a picture of a toxic workplace where power was misused and careers were destroyed. Within 24 hours, Tyler went from beloved mogul to liability, and Meghan's reaction was swift and brutal.
Watch.
Tyler Perry tonight facing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit by an actor who claims years of The lawsuit, asking for $260 million, was filed by actor Derek Dixon, who was part of the BET series The Oval.
The digital erasure began immediately. Photos of Tyler at Lilibet's christening vanished from Instagram like they never existed. Posts about Uncle Tyler were quietly archived or deleted entirely. Even official statements about his godfather status were scrubbed from press releases and bios. It was systematic, thorough, and absolutely ruthless. But the internet never forgets, and eagle-eyed royal watchers began documenting the disappearance in real time. Screenshots flooded social media, showing before and after comparisons of Meghan's accounts. "Where's Tyler?" became a trending hashtag as people realized they were witnessing a complete rewriting of recent history. The most telling detail was how quickly it happened. This wasn't a gradual distancing or a quiet stepping back. This was immediate amputation, the kind of decisive action that only comes from panic and calculated self-preservation. Tyler Perry didn't become a billionaire by being careless with contracts, and the residency agreement he had Harry and Meghan sign contained one clause that would come back to haunt them. Buried in that legal language was a provision that most people would overlook, but Perry's lawyers had crafted it specifically for situations like this. In the event of public disavowal by either party, the non-breaching side may, in accordance with applicable law, disclose context necessary to protect reputation. Translation: if Meghan publicly cuts ties with Tyler by erasing all evidence of their relationship, he was legally free to tell his side of the story. And not just in vague hints or cryptic social media posts either. We're talking full disclosure, complete with documentation, recordings, and behind-the-scenes footage that would make their Netflix documentary look like amateur hour. Perry had been documenting everything from day one, not out of malice, but because that's how smart businessmen protect themselves in Hollywood.
Meghan Markle, meet the truth. Truth, meet Meghan Markle. I don't think you know each other. In fact, I fear that you're complete strangers. Yep.
The conversations he witnessed during those crucial months were pure gold for anyone wanting to understand how Harry and Meghan really operate. Late-night strategy sessions about their media appearances, arguments about what to reveal in interviews, discussions about how to maximize their victim narrative without appearing calculated. Perry was there for all of it, not as a casual observer, but as the host who provided the safe space, where they could drop their guards completely. Sources close to Perry reveal he's not just angry, he's strategically furious. This isn't emotional retaliation, this is business warfare at the highest level. Perry has spent decades building his empire by being smarter than everyone else in the room, and he's not about to let two former royals damage his reputation without consequences. The leaked audio clip wasn't an accident or a security breach. It was a warning shot, a carefully calculated move to let Harry and Meghan know exactly what he has in his arsenal. The recording of Meghan discussing selective sympathy and Harry complaining about Netflix's content preferences was just the appetizer before the main course. Industry insiders say Perry has over 17 hours of recorded conversations, annotated transcripts, and behind-the-scenes footage that could destroy their entire post-royal narrative. He's not rushing to release it all at once because he understands the power of strategic timing. Each revelation will be deployed for maximum impact, building a case that Harry and Meghan are master manipulators who used his generosity as a stepping stone to their Hollywood ambitions. The most devastating part is that Perry has documentation of their private moments when they thought no cameras were rolling. Their reputation is at an all-time low, and if any of Tyler's recordings get leaked, it would be the death sentence to Harry and Meghan's reputation. But the real crisis isn't just about public perception anymore. It's about cold, hard cash, and the numbers are absolutely devastating. Harry and Meghan's financial empire is crumbling faster than their public image. The much-touted Netflix deal that was supposed to secure their financial independence has turned into a nightmare scenario. What was initially reported as a $100 million windfall is actually closer to $20 million. And their contract, expiring this year, renewal looks increasingly unlikely, given their content's poor performance.
Netflix has given the Sussexes an ultimatum: make more content or don't get paid. The streaming service has told the couple they have to come up with another show if they want to receive $60 million in outstanding
Their production company, Archewell Productions, has been hemorrhaging money with projects like Heart of Invictus and Polo, failing to generate the viewership numbers Netflix expected. Industry insiders reveal that streaming platforms are now shifting toward first-look deals rather than exclusive contracts, which means Harry and Meghan could be looking at significantly reduced income if they're renewed at all. The couple's annual expenses are crushing them under financial pressure that would make most people declare bankruptcy. Their $14.65 million Montecito mansion comes with property taxes of $288,000 annually, while their security costs alone are reportedly $2 million per year. Add mortgage payments, staff salaries, and the lifestyle maintenance required to keep up with their Hollywood image, and they're spending far more than they're earning.
I'm hearing that they have huge financial problems. That they are eating into capital, and that they sort of, to an extent, been for much of their marriage eating into some capital, and also he doesn't have that amount of money.
The most telling sign of their financial desperation is the massive staff cuts they've implemented. Since 2020, they've reportedly lost or let go up to 25 staff members, including key communications personnel like Charlie Gibson and Kyle Boulia. This isn't strategic downsizing, this is financial emergency management. One royal source perfectly captured their situation. They cycle through staff as quickly as normal people cycle through toilet paper. Milk lasts longer than their employees. This pattern of dysfunction suggests they can no longer afford to maintain professional relationships or the infrastructure needed to support their brand. With Tyler Perry's potential revelations looming and their financial runway rapidly shrinking, Harry and Meghan are facing a perfect storm that could destroy both their reputation and their ability to maintain their current lifestyle. The fairy tale is officially over. What's even more revealing about Meghan's character is her response to criticism of her Netflix lifestyle series, With Love, Meghan. When faced with backlash over everything from her expensive Le Creuset cookware to her complete lack of culinary training, Meghan reportedly threw up her hands and said, "This is a thing in 2025? Her incredulity at facing criticism reveals someone who expects constant praise, but vanishes the moment accountability arrives at her doorstep. This reaction perfectly encapsulates everything wrong with Meghan's approach to public life. She wants all the benefits of celebrity status, the lucrative deals, the platform, the influence, but she's genuinely shocked when people dare to question her qualifications or choices. It's the mentality of someone who believes criticism itself is outdated, rather than a natural consequence of putting yourself in the public eye. Multiple surveys paint a devastating picture of Meghan's declining public standing, and the numbers are absolutely brutal. A YouGov survey from May 2025 shows that only 20% of Brits maintain a favorable opinion of Meghan, while 65% express negative views. This represents the lowest level recorded since polling began in 2017, which means her reputation has been in complete freefall for years.
Now, why Meghan is coming under pressure here is because she has a track record of throwing very significant friends under the bus at the slightest sign of trouble. I mean, do you remember?
Even more damaging is her performance in the United States, her home country, where you'd expect more sympathy. Nearly half of Americans, 46%, now have an unfavorable view of the Duchess. This dramatic decline coincides perfectly with her pattern of strategic silence and calculated disappearances whenever real character is required. The correlation is undeniable. When the public expects authentic responses to genuine crisis, Meghan vanishes. When loyalty to friends like Perry is tested, she becomes invisible. When her own projects face legitimate criticism, she expresses bewilderment rather than genuine engagement with the concerns being raised. Meghan's vanishing act is having devastating real-world professional consequences that go far beyond bad poll numbers. Test screenings for With Love, Meghan Season 2 reportedly tanked, with reactions described as worse than lukewarm. Netflix executives are reportedly freaking out because even her core fan base doesn't seem interested anymore. Her podcast with Lemonada Media has been mysteriously pushed to 2025, probably to avoid conflicts with her other projects. But industry insiders suggest the delay actually reflects growing concerns about her declining popularity and the potential fallout from the Perry scandal. When your own projects are being delayed because of reputational concerns, you know you're in serious trouble. Multiple sources indicate that Hollywood investors are likely backing out of projects associated with Meghan, citing reputational concerns as their primary reason. One producer reportedly withdrew support from a Netflix pitch just hours after Perry's alleged BET Awards comments, with another investor stating bluntly, "I don't want to be involved in something that feels this toxic." Perhaps the most damaging is Meghan's response to direct questions about public perception, which reveals someone completely disconnected from reality. When asked on the Aspire with Emma Grede podcast what she would change about how the public views her, Meghan replied, "I would ask people to tell the truth." This response is absolutely telling because it reveals someone who believes the problem lies entirely with the public perception rather than her own actions or complete lack thereof. She genuinely thinks that millions of people across 2 countries have somehow gotten it wrong about her character, rather than recognizing her behavior patterns that have created this negative perception. That sense of denial crashed headfirst into financial reality this week when multiple outlets confirmed that Harry and Meghan have axed their entire external public relations team in a frantic attempt to cut costs. The couple's Sydney-based firm, Sunshine Sachs, and the London arm of the same group were shown the door as Archewell scrambles to plug mounting budget holes.
This comes as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have reportedly let go of several staff members, including their PR team. And this is apparently in an effort to save some money.
To understand how drastic this move is, remember that image management has always been Meghan's preferred weapon. She hired Hollywood-level crisis managers before the Oprah interview was even inked, and poured millions into curated documentaries, glossy podcasts, and Instagram reels. Sacking the very people who could build that veneer is the corporate equivalent of tearing out the living room chandelier to pay the electricity bill. The palace exile once boasted of having the best comm teams in the business. Now those specialists are gone, replaced by an in-house assistant who, according to insiders, has never fielded an international crisis call. The optics are terrible. Donors see cost-cutting, investors smell panic, and critics detect the telltale scent of a brand preparing for insolvency proceedings.
It's expensive, but I do have a source that is a proud member of the Sussex Survivors Club who told me she's still experiencing issues after leaving Meghan's employment. And the way she treated me, she says, of Meghan can only be described as dehumanizing.
Why the sudden purge? Sources close to the accountants say that Harry and Meghan are staring down an 8-figure cash cliff. The Montecito mortgage does not wait for Netflix renewals. Security contractors, nannies, gardeners, and personal chefs all want paying on time. And the Spotify deal evaporated, and Netflix signaled it would not rubber stamp another 9-figure contract. The couple's monthly burn rate became unsustainable. Firing the PR squad may save a few $100,000, yet it exposes the core contradiction at the heart of Harry and Meghan's enterprise. Their sole marketable product is narrative control, the ability to spin personal grievances into binge-worthy content. Removing the storytellers invites chaos. Who fields the inevitable follow-up questions about Tyler Perry's recordings? Who drafts the rebuttal when British tabloids publish leaked staffing invoices?
Meghan was incredibly ugly when Harry wasn't around. But as soon as Harry was around, and another point they made was the mask slipped after about 6 weeks. That Meghan.
The timing is equally suspect. News of the layoffs landed the same week Archewell's latest tax filings revealed donations had fallen by almost 30% year on year, while unrestricted grants, the cash they can actually use to pay themselves, dropped even faster. In philanthropy circles, that is the business equivalent of an iceberg sighting. First the donations freeze, then the prestige-speaking gigs vanish, and finally the lenders start asking about collateral. Commentators who once titled Meghan as a marketing genius now describe her as a diminishing asset. Streaming executives whisper that audience fatigue has set in. The public can only watch so many slow-motion chicken-feeding montages before switching to other dramas. Brands that previously lined up for Sussex endorsements are quietly recalculating reach against risk, fearing that another audio leak could drop at any moment and drag their logos into the blast zone. Inside Montecito, morale is reportedly dire. Staff who survived the call described an atmosphere of paranoia, with new non-disclosure clauses circulated alongside revised job descriptions. One insider quipped that the only thing expanding in the mansion is the legal department. Meanwhile, Prince Harry is said to be lobbying old friends at Invictus for contracted speaking fees, a far cry from the days where corporations threw bank checks at any project bearing their crest. Cutting the communications team may placate the spreadsheet today, but it detonates the future. Every scandal, every leaked phone call, every paparazzi photo of a half-finished renovation will now land without the buffer of seasoned professionals. And when Tyler Perry decides to release the next clip, the only voices left to craft a rebuttal will be the very same duo whose judgment engineered this crisis in the first place. At that point, silence will finish what scandal began. And there you have it, the moment we've all been waiting for. Prince Harry, the man who burned every bridge to build his Hollywood empire, is now frantically booking flights back to the UK like his life depends on it. Tyler Perry's explosive revelations have left Harry and Meghan with nowhere to hide, no allies to call, and no reputation left to salvage. The fairy godfather who once saved them has become their worst nightmare, armed with 17 hours of recordings that could destroy everything they built. Harry's desperate escape back to Britain isn't a homecoming. It's a retreat from the wreckage of their American dream. The prince who wanted to be Hollywood royalty is running home with his tail between his legs, proving that sometimes the only way out is back to where you started.